In the final video of our series looking at the fundamental fluids range and the experiments that can be completed, we look at the Bourdon Gauge, centre of pressure and viscosity apparatus investigations. To begin, we look at calibration of a pressure gauge, in this case a Bourdon gauge, which relies on the principle that pressure in a curved tube tends to straighten it. This is widely used in industry to measure fluid pressure and gives an analogue reading. A mass plate is attached to a fluid-filled cylinder and piston which is connected to a Bourdon gauge via pneumatic tubing. By adding weight to the mass plate, the student increases the pressure and a reading is given on the gauge. Masses are added in increments and the student records the reading from the Bourdon gauge manually within the student worksheet. Theoretical versus measured readings allow for a correction factor to be calculated and applied if necessary. This equipment also permits fundamental learning about compressibility and incompressibility of fluids. Fluids exert pressure on every part of a surface, but we treat it as if they acted at a single point, called the centre of pressure. This simplifies the design of a host of items from dams to yachts to aeroplane wings. In this investigation, the student carries out a manual experiment where they balance out the effect of water pressure against a set of weights. Forces caused by a fluid always act perpendicular to the surface they contact. The shape of the tank ensures that forces on the curved surfaces exert no moment about the pivot. Only forces acting on the end plate exert a moment about the pivot. By balancing this moment against that produced by a known weight at a known distance from the pivot, the centre of pressure can be determined. Students plot their results at regular intervals of weight for analysis. Viscosity measures a fluid's resistance to flow. It also indicates its effectiveness as a lubricant. The surfaces of bearings in machinery are never completely smooth. When two bearing surfaces are in contact, these imperfections interfere, resulting in wear and unwanted heating. The role of a lubricant is to separate these surfaces to reduce those frictional forces. This investigation uses vegetable glycerine. The viscosity apparatus is filled with glycerine and students drop spherical samples into the top of the apparatus and measure the time taken to travel a known distance. By doing this and applying Stokes' law, students can calculate the dynamic viscosity for glycerine and compare their results with reference values. The experiment is repeated with samples of different diameters and various densities.